I'm very proud and happy that this is happening. And when he was very small, I never thought that his books will come out so early. I thought when he will be retired and old, that time but I knew he will be a writer. He heard the Shakespeare drama once in the TV. And he was so excited. He was a small little boy. He jumped out from the sofa and said, "What a great thing he wrote! What a great!" And he recited what he heard. That actually taught me that really this is something he loves literature. Thank you very much.
I feel very nice.
Since I'm interested in short story writing as well, I thought this would be a nice platform for me to gain a lot of ideas and get his point of view on stories and his perspective as an author. So that's why I'm here.
I was very intrigued by this title, A Box of Chocolates, written by Raghuvir Mukherji. So I said, let me just come and meet the author and hear from the man himself what he has to say about his collection of short stories.
Good evening everyone. I would like to all welcome you for this book reading, A Box of Chocolate by Raghuvir Mukherji. On behalf of Kitabkhana, a leading star publishing house, and BMA, Bombay Management Association, I would like to welcome you all once again. Now I would like to call Mr. Sarang Kaniwala for giving the memento to Raghuvir Mukherji. Mr. Sarang Kaniwala, please.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Thank you.
Very nice.
You're
Shubh
good to be
Sandhya,
here.
sir. Shubh Sandhya.
Thank you.
Our compliments.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell you a few words about our author, Raghuvir Mukherji.
This is the awkward bit.
He was born in Kolkata and brought up in various towns in Delhi across the length and breadth of India. Raghuvir Mukherji did his BCom from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, and became a CA and certified financial risk manager by profession. He worked in various companies across software, banking and capital market. And this is the first book of him, A Box of Chocolate. Raghuvir Mukherji, sir.
Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to the launch of my first book, A Box of Chocolates. Hopefully it won't be the last. I see a lot of known faces here, so that is good. Makes me a little bit more at ease. I'm quite nervous already. So A Box of Chocolates is an anthology of 16 short stories. As the blurb of my book says, there is no real common thread or string that I can harp on, pun fully intended, with relation to the stories in A Box of Chocolates. So it takes the reader from the dense forests of Dantewada to trading rooms on Wall Street, on journeys that range from a missionary convent in Kerala to a gritty brothel in Mumbai, and from a cold Christmas morning in Harvard to a hot summer afternoon in St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. So you are going to see this whole variety of human emotions and situations across the pages of A Box of Chocolates. I must clarify here to dispel all doubt, especially given the reference to a brothel, that not all of it is based on personal experience. A lot of it is a product of the fertile imagination that the good Lord bestowed upon me, and that had been used mainly for the purpose of explaining away forgotten homework assignments in school. After school, I decided to become a chartered accountant, as Rukhsar said, and as you would know that accountants who are creative and imaginative in their work tend to go to jail. So I have had to find other avenues to give vent to my imaginative faculties. But having said that, obviously I have drawn on my personal experiences and on events that have happened in the past or are even happening as we speak. So a journey is about these group of students who go out to discover real India. The India that we see in NGO presentations. My wife works for an NGO, so I know a little bit about that. And when they're there, they get kidnapped by the Maoists. And they see a lot more than what they're perhaps bargained for. The Soulmates draws on my personal experience and memories of Kolkata. Xavier's, eateries on Park Street, the pristine green lawns of the Maidan near the Victoria Memorial on early winter mornings. The reality show is actually based on a real reality show that I saw an advertisement for. Essentially there you had to just stay awake. They would give you some simple tasks to perform. So the challenge was not in the tasks per se, but in the staying awake for hours and hours. The whole idea of what happens to you as you get more and more delusional and sleep deprived. There's something fascinating about going crazy slowly. Finally, there are stories which are largely imagined. So there is a story called The Trail, where I talk about a British MI5 agent who comes to India on the trail of drugs and terrorist funding, and then gets into really crazy situations. A lot of people ask me about the name of the book. It takes off from the dialogue in Forrest Gump, in the film Forrest Gump, where he says, "My mama always said that life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." So I have written my stories in such a way, hopefully you'll keep guessing about what is going to happen in that story and what the next story is going to be all about, because of the diversity of things that I've covered.
We do not know whether it is going to be bitter chocolate or chocolate with rum and whatever.
Absolutely. So it depends on. You could find some chocolates bitter. So yeah. So I'd like to thank Kitabkhana for this amazing platform, especially Rukhsar, Jagat and Mrs. Sumaya for providing me with this opportunity. I really am very grateful. I am thankful to BMA for supporting this. Finally, I think you should dip your hand into the cookie jar and see what you get. I'll be here to sign every copy. I won't take too much time. You're either going home or going back to work. So I don't want to be droning on while you squirm in your seats waiting for me to finish. So thank you very much again for coming. Indeed, I really am very grateful. Thank you very much. The questions and projectiles I can take now if there are any. I'm perfectly happy if you just want to buy my book, get it signed and leave. I have always believed that just because you live in comfort doesn't mean that you cannot empathize with others. And so a lot of my stories come out of that empathy. So that's one. Number two, as I said, the good Lord bestowed a fertile imagination. So that I have used.
Please share any talk, these stories which are very close to the heart, for any whatever reasons.
But I think my first story is one of my favorites. It's called Grace. The whole story is a 15-minute journey. There is a pastor of the Anglican Church who is taking his heavily pregnant wife from his house to his hospital, to the hospital, and all kinds of things happen there. His faith is tested, and a lot of things happen. So I like that story. I like the fact that I could build it up for something that's fairly mundane. So that's one of my favorites. Soulmates is one of my favorites, though it's a slice of life story. It's a love story based in Kolkata that I was referring to when I was talking about my book. I think it has crackling dialogue. And a lot of the dialogue, the kind of dialogue I have with my wife. So I quite enjoyed writing that.
For the next book, and what are you going to do?
Actually, I've been fascinated with history since probably I was very age. And little vignettes from history which I can write about, in that sense historical fiction. I am quite fascinated with the time of the transition from the Mughals to the British, which is around 1857, which William Dalrymple calls the twilight, because this was the transition from probably the greatest empire of its time to the next emerging greatest empire of all times. So, it's quite fascinating how power and culture and everything interacted in the Delhi of 1857. Thank you very much indeed for coming. I really am grateful.